Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in this world. This is Hedgen Lee with a morning update for Bitcoin. All right, let's take the short term first. I have made this as an ABC down for now. But if we remove this just so we can see better the additional waves, I want to focus on this part. Overnight, we hit a 65.11 or so. We didn't get a new lower low compared to the prior lower low of 64.31, but it came close. However, looking at the waves and seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for white 1, ABC for 2, I think wave 3 down has started. I think from now until close to the 23rd or so, we'll see a downward trek towards 5100 if this continues. Wave 4 will probably be a long, drawn-out process, about a week or so. So this would jive with the white W pathway. But based on the preponderance of the evidence, every time this broke the long-term trend, it has gone up. So let's see. We'll give it today and maybe tomorrow and see if this will go back up inside the long-term trending support. Usually I do allow 1 to 3 days or so for it to be below it to give it the time and chance to get back up. Last night I had presented this fractal, and it's pretty very high in similarity index. I mean A for A, B and very three wave-ish, 1, 2, 3, C, D, and E. The red E was pretty distant from the apex of the first, and this E would be distant from the apex right here as well. Now either the E is here or the E will be a little further, one more down. I don't know. For now, I'm going to put it here. Regardless, we need a monster volume to take it out of that downtrending pattern. And this is much smaller. And it may likely make that lower low of 5100 or so. And that 5100 would fall pretty close to the support line of right here, to this cluster, to the bottom of this. So if E is not here, it is likely to be here. One slightly lower low. Regardless, to get out of this, symmetrical triangles holding pattern, we need a monstrous volume to start. That has to happen to make this get out, allow the escape route. So I think April 23rd or so could be the time frame where if we do further decline, where there's a good probability for that, and I've put up that probability now for a couple of weeks. If we do this, we do need at least a minimum of that monstrous volume, just like we had here before and here as well. And that volume would be a very good indication of a trend change. And this fractal pattern would be just beautiful in working it out. So here is the W pattern. We are still within the range of the white. We haven't gone out of that. The white W has not yet been invalidated. However, in the event that this support line does break, we can go to the 5120 range, just like I showed you earlier. And that still jives pretty well with the MACD. And this MACD could go right like so. Because it's already declining. Just bring this up into higher scale. It had already started down, and it may touch now the bottom and rise back up. And the remaining decline it has left, this amount, can bring the price potentially down to 5120. Yes. So what you'll be getting is a lower low on the price, but a higher low still on the MACD. Or if it doesn't go to 5120, what you could actually get is probably, see if I can move this like that, a very prolonged bullwhip dip. So to me, everything kind of jives. Now, the other consideration that I want to put in, and I've already said this a couple of times, is that the whole thing could be an A. We rise to almost a new all-time high, or maybe an all-time high. I don't know. Let's say 15, 16, 17, 18,000. And then we can do a severe decline to a C. That is something to keep into consideration. To the very beginning, if you recall, I started labeling this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a leading diagonal because I thought this could be an A, B, and C, and that still holds. That has not been invalidated. And if this is taken off the table, and the way we know is that this will be a very nice impulse wave up, and we know that a 5 wave does not go in 5s, but in 3s. And if that's the case, we could certainly hit 40K or so by December or January. But I think if we can get out of this ABC trap process, we could hit potentially much higher than that. But for now, let's focus on right now. And that is, again, the declining MACD could either give a prolonged dip below the first support line or actually bring the price to 5120. But at the end of the day, by let's say end of May or June, what doesn't matter? This is when I consistently have said it's a different pathway but same destination. Again, very similar and same on the MACD. It's dipping, it'll touch the yellow line and rise back up. And that could give a fractal 4. Fractal number 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. What did I say about the declining sizes of these downward pointing wedges? The power of the sellers is declining exponentially. It's almost kind of saying that there were a lot of sellers. And by the time we're getting now to the 4th fractal, it's like nothing. Yes, price may still decline. I understand. But if you look at it from a sentiment perspective, the whole crowding effect of the sellers is coming to a near terminal end, in my opinion. And this is really telling the same story between the tug of war between the sellers and the buyers, as had been shown in the prior charts. So again, for those of you who have cash, because you took quite a bit of good profits, what would be the action to be taking right now? Accumulate through incremental buying by ladders, structured ladders, or panic sell. That is a self-decision that you need to make. All right. Have a wonderful day.